Time that loop.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy J Tuck back with another Cowboys fans only episode. So if you're new to the channel, right, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, somewhere down there. Also hit me up on Twitter at JTuck151 and also go to cowboysfansonly.com to get your official CFO gang merch. But Cowboys fan, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm not talking about Santa. I'm not talking about Rudolph. None of that, man. I'm talking about Rivalry Week. Yes, we take on the Philadelphia Eagles. So, you know what it is, y'all. We're going to cook up some Eagles. We got a big show on Saturday. All those Eagles guys that I cooked up last time, they're going to come back and we're going to toss some Eagles in the pan, man, and fry these Eagles up. But before we dive into all that, man, I got my brother from the SoFlo Cowboys. He's not a guest of the show, y'all. He's more like family. So my guy, Jonathan, what's going on, bro?
Going on, everybody?
What's up, man?
Thanks for having me on the show, bro. Thanks for bringing me back.
You already know, man. He's not even a guest. I hate calling him a guest, man, because he's like family. He and his wife are like family to the show, man. But we got some things I got to talk to my brother about before we dive into things deeply. But before we do that, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can find us at SoFlo Cowboys on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, every social media platform. I'm usually here with my wife, but, you know, she's a nurse. She's on the front line fighting this COVID thing. So we've been a little busy and haven't been able to make videos in a while, but we'll be back soon as all this stuff calms down. Yeah,
man. Shouts out to her, man, on the front line fighting this COVID thing, as you mentioned, man. They're in Florida, so she is really fighting it. She's on the battlefield for real, man. So, salute to her, man. Hopefully we can get past this whole COVID thing. You know, I just got done battling it my damn self here in my family and me specifically. So it's nothing to play with, y'all. I cannot stress that enough. It's real, man. But John, so you know, I see your tweets, man. I
know you don't like them. I
see the tweets, man. So go ahead and tell people, how were you feeling after the Cowboys win on Sunday versus the 49ers? Go ahead and explain.
I actually wasn't feeling that well. It was like the first time in my life I haven't felt well. I felt well after a win. No, man, I'm just, look, it's good for McCarthy, right? It's good for the players and the new staff that we're getting on a roll now.
Right.
Players are playing for him, so that's a good sign for the future, right? But I don't think it's worth it sacrificing that top 5 pick for a meaningless season. I mean, it's over, right? I mean, do we really want to win the division and get dog walked in that first round of the playoffs? I mean, I'm Team Tank, you know, and it hurts me to say that. It hurts to say that, but I'm just looking at the future, man. Like you get a top 5 pick. We have uncertainty with Dak, right? Because the front office keeps telling us one thing and another, but they're not doing it. So
Right.
is Dak going to get signed? I mean, this pick could be really valuable. Every loss here is affecting us in the offseason. And don't forget, like, we're losing a lot of players in free agency. We're going to be most likely, right? If they don't want to come back, like Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods, Cheeto, these guys are all free agents, right? So the market's going to be open for them, right? Salary cap is dropping. We don't, most likely if they do a deal with Dak, it'll probably be a franchise tag, which will eat up a lot of the cap. So I feel like the only way to really build this team for next season is going to be through the draft. I mean, are we really going to be able to go out there and get some free agents with the money that we already have tied up, and then we have to sign Dak on top of that? So I just feel like we could have got an overhaul if we finished with a top 5 pick. And and I'm looking at it this way also, you can also get a quarterback if the front office doesn't truly believe in Dak and didn't give him that contract. We have that certainty that we can get a quarterback, you know. So every time we win, I'm getting a little pissed off. But I'm happy they're playing for Mike McCarthy, because I know there are a lot of doubters out there on Mike McCarthy. I'm not one. That's my coach.
That's a different category. We can dive into that one.
But yeah, so that's where I stand on Team Tank. I believe this season's over, man. I don't want to get dog walked in the playoffs in that first round. I'm ready for the offseason. I want to see us get a high pick, work around it. Hey, if a team, you never know, you finish with a top 5 pick, a team called like the Bears or Fernandez call, hey, we're interested in this pick, and we get an extra first or a second. You don't know. So these are things that I'm looking at and that could help us build a team this offseason.
So let me say this, because this is the first time I've had an official team tanker on the show.
Team tank, baby.
So let me ask you this. So let me ask you this, bro. Were you satisfied with our draft last season?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think CeeDee Lamb is a cornerstone player for the Cowboys' future?
I believe Diggs is a cornerstone player. Getting Gallimore was huge. We have yet to see an eye play. Our center from Wisconsin, via Dash, he got hurt, but he was playing pretty well. So yeah, we did well in the last draft. So
was any of these guys top 5 picks?
No, you're right. You're right.
So maybe, just maybe, the Dallas Cowboys and Will McClay is talented enough that we don't need a top 5 pick to draft talent. That's just a maybe, bro.
But I'm just saying the way the season's playing out. I'm just ready for the offseason. So you might as well just finish with a top 5 pick. We have leverage there. If you finish with a top 5 pick, we can, like I said, gain extra picks in an uncertain offseason. We don't know what's going to happen with the cap. Dak's uncertainty. There's chatter about Zeke now. We don't know. So just holding on, getting that pick is really valuable in the top 5.
But here's what I say to that, bro. If you have a top 5 pick, granted, you can use that as leverage, depending on if there's players that people want to move up for. And I feel like when it comes to this draft, it's kind of a Trevor Lawrence. Now, if we were at the 1-2 spot, okay, maybe I can see the value. But if you want to, I doubt that any team will want to leverage a lot of draft picks and a lot of draft capital to move up to get Wilson or, one of these other quarterbacks. So I feel like when it comes to this draft specifically, I don't think it's the caliber of talent we've seen previously. And also, when I've been explaining since all season, a lot of these players sat at home all college season. So you had a minimized college season. You have players who are sitting out. It's really not as talented as I would say last year's draft. So it's really like, is the capital and the opportunity really there? So where I'm coming from,
right,
the team win guys, and there's we got a lot of team win guys on the channel, in the chat. Shout out to my guy, the Lunatic, BJ, Mo. We are win right now because here's what I say. Getting these young players, the Trevor Diggs and the CeeDee Lambs and Neville Gallimore, the players that we mentioned, possible playoff-like experience, is more valuable going into next season than a possible top 5 pick.
Okay.
Right.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Right. And so it really comes to the conversation about changing the culture. Mike McCarthy has come in early and said everything that we're doing this season is about winning. That's the culture. That's our motto. It's no longer finish the fight. It's everything that we're doing will be about winning. Tanking doesn't fit into that narrative. So you can't pretty much talk out of both sides of your neck. And so I feel like it's important for these guys to get some reps. If this team, through all the ups and downs, all the injuries, all the mishaps, is able to go 7-9. if you take that mindset that we went 7-9 without Dak Prescott, without Tyron Smith, without La'el Collins, without Blake Jarwin, and so on, then that leads into a more upside when it comes to your offseason. I feel like these guys are more motivated. But if you come off a 2 to 3 win season and you just quit, basically, it's hard to recapture that trust with this team. So that's why I've always been a proponent of going out there and compete. Now, we might go out there and play our tails off against Philly and get our face beat in, but I'm okay with that as long as you're competing and not really laying down.
Right. No, I definitely want them to play hard. I definitely want the Cowboys to show out in front of with Mike McCarthy, because I believe he's got a future here in Dallas as a head coach, right? But like you said, you don't want Diggs. Oh God, you don't want Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, like you said. You don't want to see these young guys, with the culture of losing in Dallas. That's not what we're about, right? That's not what we want to be about. But at the end of the day, I still want to lose these ball games. I still believe in getting a pick or a high pick. Look, the combine still has to happen. There's still, a lot of guys are going to move up in the draft. There's going to be teams maybe like the Bears or Niners that say, hey, we really want Zach Wilson, and we believe he might be gone by that fifth pick, or and they might throw the house at us. You just don't know. I just like the leverage of having that top 5 pick going into an offseason with so much uncertainty, especially, hey, are we going to sign Dak or what? Because the way when Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are talking on the radio, I don't know, man. They're saying that's their guy, but is it their guy?
I don't know, man. We've gone about this extensively with Dak Prescott. I feel like he is the Cowboys guy at the right price, which tells me he's not your guy. He's not your guy.
That's one another reason why I want that high pick. You just don't know that certainty with Dak.
Right.
You have leverage here to take a franchise quarterback.
Right.
Granted, we don't know who it could be, but we have that pick there, and we can maneuver ourselves. That's a valuable pick. A top 5 pick is going to be really valuable,
right?
Especially in the season, you're coming off like this. So we'll see. And then the cap's taking a hit. We don't know. And I just like the leverage for the offseason. That's basically my thing.
I feel like ideally, if it's me, the Dallas Cowboys must. This is the first priority we must address this all season as soon as the lights turn off. Is signing Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. I don't care what the price is, we have to do it, and for a few reasons. Not only about the leadership and just solidifying the quarterback position moving forward, but also what we're able to do. I think, Nix, we spoke about this on Sunday night, is able to spread this money out so that way we can be more aggressive in free agency. Because if you sign Dak to that hard cap, that's going against your money as soon as he signs on the dotted line. And so you're not being able to be active in free agency because you're waiting to see, can we work out in a deal in the summer perhaps? So get the deal done as soon as possible. Now,
the tag's not going to work, Jay.
The tag is not going to work.
No,
I feel like if we tag Dak Prescott, this is pretty much the end. And so,
that's it. I believe he'll be traded. They'll probably tag him, trade him.
Tag and trade, exactly.
And I definitely see guys like the 49ers, that front office, I definitely see him going to a team like that. I can see it.
Right. Or in our own division, Washington, like a team like that. There's a lot of teams that would love to have Dak Prescott, which is why Dak Prescott is probably not going to cave on his deal. And I gave this scenario to one of my friends. He was like, damn, Tuck, that does make sense. You're a PS5 owner. I'm a PS5 owner. Nix, you're a PS5 owner, right? We know the retail price of a PS5 is $500, but the eBay market price is going for $1,500. So if we are going to sell it, are you going to sell it at $500? Are you going to sell it for $1,500? That's when it comes to Dak Prescott. He knows what the value is and what it's trending up to be for an NFL quarterback. He's not going to sell himself short for $33 million. That's not the price.
And especially he saw what happened to our team after he got hurt.
Exactly.
And knowing how valuable he was, just not on the field too, Jay, just like in the locker room with the players, man.
Right.
Like, could you imagine how many guys fell out when they saw Dak break that ankle, how they felt? And you could tell the team just didn't have it anymore after that, man.
Right. And here's what I've been saying from a PR perspective. When Dak went down, it wasn't just the Cowboys nation who was down. I mean, you had so many, LeBron James, all over sports, felt for Dak Prescott.
Everybody felt it.
It's going to be hard for Jerry Jones to come back and say, this is the guy as our leader. He fights for us. He means so much to us, but we're not going to sign him. He's going to have to answer a lot of questions if he doesn't sign Dak Prescott. He franchise tags him again and wants to put him through that same predicament. I think it's just a bad from a PR standpoint, which Jerry Jones hates. And so I think, they say We almost had a deal done. It was last minute and the fax machine and all this different. So pick right back up from what you had. Like, honestly, they should be working on the deal right now. You really should be working on the deal right now. Dak was giving out scooters in the locker room or whatnot. Hey, bro, can I talk to you for a quick second? Like, just come in. Like, let me holler at you for a quick second. Just check everything. But that's the most important thing to be done this offseason. And
Jay, that's another thing, man. That's why I'm with Team Tank, man. Again, I'm gonna say it again. You get a valuable quarterback up there in a top 5 or a top 8 pick. We don't know the certainty of Dak. We just don't know, man. We just don't know. And I think it's gonna be a little crazy this offseason getting that deal done.
So let me ask you this for Team Tank, right? Let's say, for instance, we did tank and we're top 5 and we take Justin Fields. Do you feel like that puts us right back in the Super Bowl contention next year, or will it be a progress?
That's hard because it's always a development process. You know how it is with a college quarterback coming into the NFL, to the pros.
Mm-hmm.
But Fields has a talent, man. I think he could perform well. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I know you don't like him. I know you don't like him.
It's not that I don't like him. I just don't think he's worth that. Like me sitting through a 1-win season for the Dallas Cowboys for Trevor Lawrence isn't worth it for me. Like I just don't see it.
I think he's a franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, man. That is my opinion.
Right.
I think he's gonna get it done in the NFL. But back to your question about Fields, I think he could come in and perform well, win us some ball games, but it would take a couple of years, like a year or two, to really for his full potential.
Right. My guy, the Lunatic, says can't negotiate with Dak until after the season. NFL finds out, and that will be worse than making it rain Haskins. Yeah, if they find out. So here's what I say, man. Dak's in the building. Kind of send somebody upstairs to kind of go check on him and see how he's doing, and kind of chop it up and just slide him a little note under in his locker.
I've got a bad. I don't know why, Jay, but I just got a bad vibe about getting that deal done. I don't know if they're gonna get that deal done, man.
It's because we don't trust this organization, and that's rightfully so.
Yeah, we just don't, man. They butchered this whole scenario. This deal should have been done, and we should have been even talking about this, but they messed it up, and both sides couldn't come to agreement. Now we're gonna be in uncertainty now in this offseason. And we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah. I keep telling Cowboys fam. Todd France, he's the most critical piece for our offseason because only is he the agent for Dak Prescott, he's the agent for Justin Simmons. So, like I said, we might got to send them goons to his hotel room and hang him off the balcony.
Come off, man. We need to get this deal done, man.
Yeah, just hang him off the balcony. Like, all right, bro. Like, I need both these guys. I'm going to break your legs, man. Like, sometimes you got to just dig a little deep, man. So, speaking of this offseason, some very interesting news hit today circulating about Kellen Moore. So the possibility of Kellen Moore could be going back to Boise from the head coaching job. So let me ask you this. What is your takes on that?
Kellen Moore is a young-minded coach. He's pretty good. I like the way he runs the offense, but I wouldn't be concerned if he left because I have trust in Mike McCarthy running the offense and him calling plays. Because we've seen him do it before. Granted, it was Aaron Rodgers in that offense, but I believe Mike McCarthy could have success calling plays if he went back to it. Yeah, But Kellen Moore is a genius, man. I think if he went to Boise State, they'd be getting a good young head coach. I believe he might take that job, but I would not be concerned because I don't mind Mike McCarthy calling plays, taking back the playbook.
Yeah, and that's the hard part because Kellen Moore, he does come from Boise. He has some tenure there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's probably going to make more money. If you're looking from a money standpoint, he's going to make more money as a college head coach than he's going to make as an offensive coordinator.
Right.
But I feel like with Kellen, he does like being an NFL OC. And I feel like if Kellen Moore comes back next year as the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, and he puts up a tremendous number, again, 3 years in a row pretty much with Dak Prescott, I feel like NFL teams are going to start to try to pry Kellen Moore, which is why I've been saying Mike McCarthy is now officially on the shot clock because I feel like Kellen Moore is Jerry Jones's golden goose right now, and he wants to protect him at all costs. So I don't see Kellen Moore going to Boise. I see Jerry Jones saying, all right, so how much are they offering you? $3 million? I can't do that. I can give you 2.5 and a few endorsements. Just hold tight. And I feel like Jerry Jones will Jason Garrett Kellen Moore to keep him on the staff until he finds out is Mike McCarthy his guy. Now, if you ask me, I say, no, Mike McCarthy isn't your guy. You might as well just go get Kellen Moore because that's what you want. But I feel like Kellen Moore will remain with the Dallas Cowboys. But you also got to think about it from this aspect as well. Maybe Kellen Moore could go to Boise, get a few wins, string out 4 to 5 years, get some head coach, tenure under his belt, and then come back to the NFL. And if that's something he wants to do. But I feel like Kellen Moore is closer to becoming an NFL coach, being the OC for the Dallas Cowboys versus reverting back to college in Boise, because it may or may not work out. So if you're this close, you're in one of the premium teams of the NFL. You have a connection with the future quarterback, which should be, why would you give that up?
Right, and he's had success. I mean, this Cowboys offense has had success. It's not bad, and with Dalton back there, we're still doing pretty good. So yeah, I could definitely see him sticking with the Cowboys. But I think because of his connection with Boise State, I think he ends up there.
Right, and that's the thing about it, though. I mean, he's an alumni from Boise, and maybe they can get him. But I feel like Kellen Moore will stay. But as you mentioned, that will give Mike McCarthy the opportunity to do what we brought Mike McCarthy in for.
Exactly.
Like my guy Nick has been saying, what is Mike McCarthy known for? Being an offensive guy.
Calling plays.
Well, maybe it's time we let him really be what he is and see if he can do something differently. But with me personally, I don't think offense is the issue. So I felt like what we should have done, if it was me, and I know Nick agrees with this and others agrees with this as well, is you have Kellen Moore. The offense was already intact. You bring in a defensive-minded coach to fix that end of the ball.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I could definitely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is why I've been asking is like, what is the value that Mike McCarthy brings to this team? I really don't know it at this point, because if we're talking about decision-making, accountability, leadership, and he's not calling his own plays, it's just like, all right, so what can you say that you actually do for me? So that's the tricky part.
Right, that's correct, yep.
So if you really want to see what Mike McCarthy's really about and what he can bring to this Dallas Cowboys team, allow him to call plays moving forward, and we'll sort it out. But I just feel like Jerry Jones is going to put that protection around Kellen Moore and be like, nah, because everyone could get fired, but not this guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's makes it that way.
How long do you think the leash is on Mike McCarthy as head coach for the Dallas Cowboys?
I put him on the shot clock for 2 to 3 years.
Okay,
so I feel like coming back next year, we'll have a tremendous year. Dak Prescott, if motivated and re-signed, we should be off in playoff contention. But if we fall short, let's say, for instance, Dak comes back and we're fully healthy and we go 7-9.
Oh, yeah.
We fall short.
We definitely got to
that leash gets shorter. Yeah. That leash gets shorter. And depending on the play calls and these questionable decisions, if we have an up and down season next year, it might even get tighter. Because like I said, I feel like Mike McCarthy is the bridge guy. I feel like Mike, he was kind of just one of those guys. He has a Super Bowl. He has head coaching experience. Jerry Jones was like, all right, let's sign him. But kind of seeing how things went into play this year, it's kind of like, because Jerry said he's disappointed. Well, what has changed from last year to this year? Well, the entire coaching staff. So you're gonna have to hold some accountability for it.
We kind of got to give McCarthy the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean, the offseason was messed up. We was your starting quarterback. We lost 3 starting linemen going to the league. You got a new defensive coordinator. It was just a mess, right? But if you come back next year again with Dak healthy, a year under your belt, and a pretty solid defense, a new defensive coordinator, the leash shortens up a little bit. You've got to start winning games now because there's no excuse, right? But this year, we can give them a little benefit of the doubt because of what happened, what was going on, new staff, and the defense coordinator is not good.
Right.
He's not good at all. So we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt and see what happens in the future. But yeah, I definitely see the next 2-3 years. If he can't establish a winning culture here in Dallas, he's got to go.
Yeah, I don't see Mike McCarthy getting a 9 to 10 year Jason Garrett leash. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot shorter. So if things tend to fizzle out, shouts out to my guy Philly Insider Podcast. What's up, bro? You ready for Hurts to take this W? We gonna talk about that. Like I said, these Eagle fans, it's all right, bro. I got sized up by a 10-year-old Eagle fan. I forgot what his name. I think his name was Bryson.
Did they turn their back on Wentz already?
They turned their back on Wentz already. Yeah, Wentz is already gone. Even after he won y'all a Super Bowl, according to y'all for so many years, y'all didn't turn your back on Wentz, man. So we'll get to Philly. We'll get to Philly this week on this weekend. So like I said, bro, your team tanked. So I want to talk to a team tank point of view, right? We tanked. Sir. We've won 3 games. You're the GM. You're in charge of Dallas Cowboys. What are we doing?
I'm trading up. I'm trading out. And I'm trying to acquire extra picks to build his defense.
Okay.
His defense is going to lose a lot of players in the offseason. Like I said, we've got to is Jalen the answer, bro, a linebacker? I mean, LVE is getting banged up. I just want to trade, acquire other picks, trade that high pick, acquire picks in different rounds, and just build that defense back up, man.
So you're
Build
wanting
up
to
defense.
build the entire deep, or not the entire defense,
Not
but the
entire
majority of
defense,
their
but
defense
get us
through
some
the draft.
get us some playmakers on that defensive side of the ball because we're lacking it right now.
So are you wanting to do that through the draft or through free agency or
We have to do that through the draft, man. That's why I'm team
veterans?
tank right now. I want that high pick and for us to try to trade out of there and accumulate more picks in throughout the draft so we can just build his defense back because we know what we have on the offensive side of the ball, right? We're good.
Right.
But if we could use an extra pick here and there, an extra first rounder, a second rounder by trading out our top 5, top 8 pick. I mean, the sky's the limit. We could acquire so many good players throughout the draft.
Right.
On the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at in Team 10 because listen, winning now is pointless, right? I mean, we're gonna go into
how was it pointless though?
I mean,
how do we know if the Cowboys were the because we get into the playoffs?
Hold on,
let me
I love my boys, man, but we're gonna get a dog walk in that first
round. If we were able to get into the playoffs, what does that mean? We've won 4 games in a row. And also, Washington has lost 4 games in a row. So a lot of things had to happen in our favor for us to even get to the playoffs. How do we know in 2021 the luck just changes with the Dallas Cowboys, and now is our time to go on a run? What if
I love you like a brother, man, but it's over. It's over, bro. It's over. It's over. We're ready to tank, man.
Even if we lose Sunday, the season still ain't over for me, man. I'm still fighting.
Couple wins. Listen, don't get it twisted. As much as I want to tank, there's nobody more that I want to beat than the Eagles.
Right.
I want to beat the Eagles.
Right.
Don't get it twisted, but I'm still a team tank. I believe we could accumulate picks in the draft with a high pick and build back this defense, man.
See, here's what I say, guys. Like I said, I'm going to talk off-season transactions and free agencies and draft after January 3rd because I'm still focusing on playoffs. I'm still in playoff mode.
Yeah, we got 2 more games. Hey, anything can happen these next 2 games.
Anything can happen.
They can still win the division. Hey, I'm going to support my boys. Even though I'm team tank and they start winning, hey, I'm happy for them. I want to see them win. But deep down in my heart, I want them to tank.
Because I've seen Eli Manning win 2 Super Bowls. Seeing Andy Dalton win 1 isn't such a far of a stretch. You know,
I don't think this defense. I don't think the defense could hold a team.
They could turn around, man. They could turn around. I mean,
they have been creating turnovers, right? And Donovan Wilson is our playmaker. We found our box safety. So you just don't know, man. See? NFL's a crazy game.
Exactly. So, but here's what I'll say: if we did have a top 5 pick, let's say top 10 pick, right? Forget drafting, forget leveraging and moving back and having someone jump up in front of us, right?
Right.
It comes down to me. Production versus projection. And what I say by that is like you have veterans. Like that's production. You know what you're going to get from an NFL veteran. Projection is more of a rookie. You don't know what that guy is really going to be. Right. So what I do is I have a top 10 pick. Let's say we're picking 9. I say, hey, Jets, I know you just messed up on your Trevor Lawrence thing. That really sucks for y'all. I don't know why y'all did that. But hey, you have a second pick. Do you want a number 9 pick too in the first round? Okay. Give me Quentin Williams right now, and you can have this 9 pick.
I could definitely see them doing that. I could definitely see that. Hey, I'm not against that. That's
right.
When I say acquiring different picks, I also acquiring different players.
So that's what I would do. I want instant impact. I don't want to draft this rookie on our defensive line, defensive tackle like a Marvin Wilson, which is our guy from Florida State, and be like, okay, can Marvin work? Will he work? You know, maybe. I would like to know for sure what I'm getting with that pick if I'm going to move out.
So Jay, you're in it to win now.
Yeah, I'm in it to win now.
You're trying to get a quiet player. Okay,
I'm in it to win now, and I had the discussion today on Twitter. Right, I feel like the civil war between Cowboys fans is some Cowboys fans are thinking futuristic. They're thinking 3 to 5 to maybe 6 years, and those are the guys and girls who talk cap. They talk about trade capital and different things like that. Me, I'm a win now. Like if we can win it this year, let's do it. So that's why my behaviors and my output is more aggressive. That's why I'm like, let's give up 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams because I know that's instant impact, and with the offense that we have right now, that can put us over that hump.
The problem with that is the team is so young. Like when towards the end of Romo's career, I could have seen the Cowboys doing something like that, trading 2 picks for Jamal Adams, or in a win now situation.
Right.
Remember, the Cowboys have one of the youngest rosters in the entire NFL, and they're still trying to, get them going and trying to get the new coaching staff established with them. So I'm I'm okay with them trying to build for the future.
Right.
I'm okay with them saying, "Hey, we have a top 5 pick. Let's trade it out, acquire a bunch of second round, third picks, a late first round. Let's just build this defense." We have time right now. We still have a young, solid team. I mean, how old is Dak? What, Dak's in his mid-20s or what is he, late, like 26, 27?
Yeah, but see,
Okay.
the Cowboys have time. I ain't got much time. and I tell a story. And I tell a story,
we've been
bro.
waiting a long time, bro.
A long time. Like I said, I live here in Kansas City. I was at the AFC Championship game. I was there. There was a guy. He was probably like 6'5", 300 pounds, sitting next to me in this cold AFC Championship game. The Chiefs win, go to the Super Bowl. He hugs me and just cries, like sobs, like tears, like my jacket's wet. And he said, "Man, 50 years, my dad wasn't around, but if my dad was here, he would love this. I know he's in heaven just crying right now. He's so excited." And I thought instantly, I'd be damned if that's my kids. I don't want it to be another 25 years and then my kids are at the NFC Championship game saying the Cowboys finally did it. I'm not taking another 25 years. I want it done now.
Right. So right. But how look at that Chiefs roster, Jay. Their quarterback, how was he acquired?
Through the draft. But we already have our quarterback. But here's what I'll say about the Chiefs, though. Here's what I'll say about the Chiefs. They had Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill and those guys. But
through the draft,
through the draft. Soon as he was available, what did they do? They went out and got Tyrann Mathieu, right? Yeah. Frank Clark, those guys that are instant impact changers, they went out and got.
But see, here's the thing. They had that cap room because they got a bunch of young players. They're able to do that, and we should be able to do that too. But we paid a lot of players big money. DeMarcus Lawrence, Ezekiel Elliott. We have heavy numbers on these guys. See, the Chiefs were able to do that because who they have on that roster?
Right.
Nobody really. They were smart. The front office was smart. Let's go get this quarterback and let's just acquire these veteran players on cheap contracts. Let's go win it.
Right.
But they weren't that young as the Cowboys are right now. The Cowboys have like one of the youngest rosters in the NFL.
Right.
I just think we could do that 2-3 years down the line where Dak's locked up and we can acquire, So that's why I believe having that high pick this year could set us up good for the future where we can say, let's trade out of here, acquire an extra first or a second or a third, and let's just draft defense, and
build up for the future, right?
For the future.
See,
but I understand what you're saying. Let's win now,
right?
But I don't think this roster is made right now to win.
And it's hard to trust this Cowboys team because they did not do that with Dak Prescott. We are the only team in the NFL who pays their running back before they pay their quarterback. We're the only team in the NFL that plays an offside linebacker before we play our quarterback.
Right. So and I'm a big Zeke fan, Jay. I don't know if you remember the first time I met you, I told you like that's my favorite player on the team.
Right.
But you can see him regressing. You can see that speed. You can see that breakaway speed, that big play player he was not there anymore.
Well, let's get into that. So Zeke supports Tony Pollard. So moving forward, what is your thoughts on how we utilize the running back position? Are you a move on?
Zeke is still a dog, right? Zeke is still a top 5, top 10 dog, but he's slowing down, man. And honestly, if the Cowboys were to get offers for Zeke this offseason, and you got a good offer, you could let him walk. You could let him walk. Tony Pollard's run the ball well. I mean, you could draft another running back in the 3rd, 4th round in the middle of the draft to go pair with Pollard. But you could tell Zeke's lost a step, man, and it's just going to get worse as his career goes.
Right.
Tony Pollard gave us a jump in that 49ers game. I don't think Zeke would have given us that type of jump. You see some of that breakaway speed. You see some of those moves and cuts.
Right.
That touchdown where he shook off Richard Sherman, took it to the house. I don't think Zeke does that. I don't think Zeke can make that run right there now.
They're two different solid runners.
It's a big concern right there it's a concern to see Pollard run like that behind this offensive line. And then you look at Zeke, and Zeke has 1 or 2 yards over 20 yards the entire season.
Right.
He's had that many carries, and Pollard's amassed him in runs over 20 yards, and he has less carries.
Right.
It's a concern there, and I wouldn't mind, honestly, and I'm a big Zeke fan, of dumping that contract.
Yeah.
It looks really bad right now. There's a lot of money left. I think up to 2025 or 2027 left on his deal.
Right.
And that's something that definitely can affect us in the future big time.
Yeah. And
how do you feel about that, man?
So here's the thing. I would say this, and granted, I do like Zeke. I mean, of course, you can single back there.
Oh yeah.
But this is why you don't draft a running
Yeah.
back number 4 overall
Yeah,
in
they
the
made a
draft.
mistake there. They made a mistake there.
Because what people got to understand when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott, you're talking about him losing lack of speed and mobility because we put so much tread on those tires right out the
We
gate.
did.
Like
That
for
16,
the very
17 season, man.
it was so much that we put on Zeke, and so right now, damn right, he's worn down. So what the
Yeah.
hopes are with Ezekiel Elliott is maybe this kind of a year off would refresh him and kind of put, save some of that mileage on him. Now I saw my guy Mo just said that I think COVID hangover. I will say this, y'all. When you get COVID, things just don't feel right.
Right.
Like the second breath, the second wind. So I'm not sure if it's a COVID hangover, how hard Zeke was really impacted. But I feel like with Zeke, what happened this year to Zeke, one, earlier on when Dak Prescott was still healthy, we were playing from behind right out the gate in a lot of those ball games.
The ball a lot.
So that took Zeke out of the game right there. That took Zeke out of the game. Two, there was a lot of turnovers, which Zeke was having. And also Tony Pollard had turnovers too, so it's not just on Zeke, but Zeke did have costly turnovers. And so I feel like three, Mike McCarthy, and we know this coming into this season, this was a huge question mark, he really isn't as committed to the run as Jason Garrett was.
Yes, huge point there.
Because if you look at Zeke this season, the games where he's had 20-plus carries, he looked very Zeke-like. You know what I'm saying?
And
but
Jay,
it's
that's
very
what I'm
far
saying.
between.
Yes, and great point on there. Mike McCarthy and his running back situation. Grimmer and Green Bay, they didn't pay that much money for a running back. They would rotate him out and bring in guys through free agency.
Even use wide receivers at running back.
Cobb and stuff. So so yeah, back to your point. I could definitely see the Cowboys moving on from Zeke this offseason.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like if the Cowboys move on from Zeke, it's not to diminish Zeke's skill set or where he's at right now. It's just where we want to go with this offense. Does he still fit? And I feel like it's not, because even if you think about what we did with Tony Pollard, we didn't commit to the run game, but we were able to utilize Tony Pollard in space. And you saw a lot of difference, right? We flexed Tony Pollard out wide. We used different motions. We had a fullback for Tony Pollard. So there was so many different looks that Tony Pollard provided to this team than you normally see with Ezekiel Elliott. So maybe they're sitting back thinking, I can do more of this with Tony Pollard than I can do with Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes,
now, if it's me,
had a kick to it,
I give him that Carolina Madden playbook, and I show him how to use both of them in the pistol. If Kellen Moore needs that from me, hit me, bro. I can show you how to use both running backs out of that pistol formation and still get the money and eat. But I just think the days of the 30 carry a game Ezekiel Elliott's no more in Dallas.
And that's the thing. Are we going to be paying a guy that much money to not have 30 carries a game?
Yeah.
Which direction is his offense going?
Right.
Where are we going in the future? What does Mike McCarthy like to do? Can we afford to pay Zeke that much money and have him split time with Pollard? I think will be happening in the future. Pollard has to touch the ball.
Right.
He's too much of a playmaker. We saw it in the San Fran game.
Right.
Like I said, those touches that Pollard scored on, I don't think Zeke takes it to the house. I don't think he houses it like that.
He doesn't.
Yeah, so there's concern there, man. There's concern there.
And these are questions a general manager would probably ask themselves before they sign the big contract. Like,
we don't have a GM, man. We have a
right. So we see the emergence of Dak Prescott. We have Amari Cooper we brought in. We see what Michael Gallup's doing. At that point, you had Randall Cobb, and we're able to air the ball out. Do we want to be committed to the run game? And here's what I'm saying: if it was me,
I don't know, man.
Where would this Cowboys team be with Ezekiel Elliott if Zeke would just went to Cabo, right? And Jerry Jones would say, "Okay, cool, stay there. We're gonna run with Tony Pollard for the first 3 to 4 games."
I think we would have seen something different, man.
Exactly. Yeah. But Jerry panicked. It was like, I can't go into the season without Ezekiel Elliott because we lose games. I'm like a dummy. So whatever, sign it. So I feel like if we would have set back and just played it cool, we could have sat back and think, well, damn.
And don't get it great. And don't get it twisted. Zeke's a dog now. Zeke can run that ball.
Right.
He's a man going downhill. You want to get in front of him.
Right.
But the system is changing. I think Zeke could perform well in the system in Tennessee.
Right.
Like where they run the ball heavily.
Right.
But we're starting to see a change now. With Zeke out, Tony Pollard was in. We see a different type of offense. We see more explosiveness.
Right.
We're seeing chunky yardage. We're seeing a guy split out wide. We're seeing a fullback in the game. Linebackers matching up against Pollard, that's a big mismatch, man.
Right.
So I could definitely see the Cowboys talking about moving on from Zeke this offseason. It wouldn't surprise me if a team called him and they moved on from him. and just the way our salary cap is made up too right now.
Right.
You know, we've got to pay Dak,
I I
and
I
we want to build this defense.
I would personally like to keep Ezekiel Elliott because, like I said, I just don't see Tony Pollard being that guy we
Right.
can lean on.
But I'm
But you
saying
can
you
draft
can
a young
draft a
guy.
bruiser.
Yeah,
You can draft a
you can
bruiser.
draft the bruiser. Yeah,
You can draft one. There's a bunch of these guys out there,
yeah.
man.
And here's I'm gonna saying, people, it's not that running backs don't matter. It's just high paid running backs don't matter.
And the system plays a huge deal. I remember you talking about it. I don't know if you remember before we early on this season, before this season, we talked about how would Zeke fit in this system,
right?
Because we knew what Mike McCarthy was,
right?
And we saw it the first couple of games. Dak was slinging that thing, man.
Right.
They weren't holding him back.
They wasn't even looking. They wasn't even looking at like Zeke was even an option.
Yeah. He was CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Gallup. These guys were eating out there.
Right.
And that, again, for all the fans out there that are watching Jay Tuck's thing, or we're going to talk about it throughout the rest of the season. It's not that I hate Zeke. I love Zeke. He's my favorite Cowboy. But we've got to look out for the best of the organization.
Right.
What's going to happen in the future? Where do they want to go?
Right.
Listen, seeing Paul run the way he did and have that explosiveness and see how this offense ran.
Right.
Honestly, we didn't miss Zeke. We did it. We did it, man.
It didn't. So my guy Mo says the thing, why don't Zeke get that fullback? Yeah, I don't understand it because you think about it. It was Jalen Smith's brother who used to play with the up back, man. So it adds more because with this O-line, as horrible and up and downs they've been, Zeke has been taking on the brunt of the contact before he even gets to the hole.
Bro, yes,
and
so, who brought that question up?
My guy Mo. My guy Mo. He's a Cowboys
stuff,
extraordinaire, man. He's always winning the quizzes.
I
and
love
all
that
that
right
stuff.
there. How would Emmy do without Moose Johnson? See,
you need a fullback. Why doesn't Zeke have a fullback? I don't understand. But they damn sure brought it in for Tony Pollard. It was just like, oh, he's a fullback. I was like, all right, well,
yeah, man.
You know,
and Zeke running style, he's got to have a fullback in front of him, man. That downhill running, you got to have a fullback.
He's north and south.
Yeah.
Like, so I would bring in a fullback for Ezekiel Elliott and get back to basics. But like I said, he's just if this same team, the same season was to happen under Jason Garrett, Zeke would be getting 30 carries a game.
Easily.
Because Jason Garrett's going to say, you know what? My quarterback's out. My O-line's injured. I'm going to give him the ball 30 times a game. I'm going to keep my defense off the field, and it is what it is. We're going to play some slow, boring football. We're going to get out of here 9-6 and just keep things moving.
Yeah.
But even Mike McCarthy, you've seen it with Andy Dalton. It's 4th and 1. Ezekiel Elliott's back there. He's throwing a comeback route to CeeDee Lamb. Or like, what are you doing? Like, just you know.
There it is. That's it. That's where this offense. That's where this scheme. These guys want to throw the ball down the field.
Right.
And how is Zeke going to fit in this offense? This season's. I don't think he's met 1,000 yards yet running the ball.
Nah,
yet.
He's not at 1,000.
He's at 1,000 yards.
I think he's like at 7 something right now.
Yeah, I think he's at 7 something. Yeah. So and he might even play this week. So we might even get to see some more Tony Pollard. But yeah, that's where I stand on the Zeke thing and the Pollard thing, man. But we'll see. But it all depends on how the scheme works, how it goes forward, going forward.
So speaking of scheme, there's been this thing floating around now where people are starting to get cold feet about drafting CeeDee Lamb. Do you think CeeDee Lamb was still the right pick, or should we still been focused more on the defensive side of the ball in that first round?
No, CeeDee Lamb was a great pick. Yeah. I mean, who we got? Chasen, what was that? Was that his name? The guy from LSU? I mean, what kind of impact is he making this year? Yeah, Clay. Yeah.
Right.
No, CeeDee Lamb, the type of talent that you don't pass up on.
Right.
And Jerry made that mistake passing up on Moss and some of these playmakers, but CeeDee Lamb's talent is just something that when people are passing on him and he's there for the taking, you can't pass him. He's just sensational talent, man. You've got to have him on the team.
So when it comes to your draft aspect, and let me know this in the chat, y'all, are you the best player available, period, or are you the best player available at the positions that are needed for you?
That's a tough one. That's a good question, Jay.
I see a lot of people are now starting to float the idea of drafting a certain tight end now out of Florida.
That's my boy. And that's my boy. You know, I'm here in Florida. You know, I watch him. He's on CBS every week.
Right.
That's my boy.
Right.
I wouldn't mind taking him. Nah, but we got to have defense. We've got Blake Jarwin there. Pitts is a beast. Whoever gets Pitts, man, they're gonna get a player for the next decade.
Right.
That guy's gonna be a mismatch nightmare. No linebacker or safety's covering him going down the field.
Right.
Tell you that right now. But the Cowboys just can't. We gotta. I'm Team Tank. We've got a tank to build this defense. The defense is bad. And like I said, we're going to be losing a lot of players in that secondary, possibly with Jordan Lewis, Cheeto, and Xavier Woods becoming free agents.
Right. So I know last year I called CD Lamb my Turbo Master 5000, my toys. I didn't
Yeah.
want any Christmas socks, but I feel like for this draft moving up, we need all Christmas socks, man. I need sweaters. I need, just those guys on defense that's going to shore
We
up this
need some
defense,
dogs on that
man.
defense. Bring in
Yeah.
some more Bama boys or
Yeah,
Clemson boys, man.
yeah, exactly, and get to
Let's
it.
stop with the Boise State stuff, man. Let's calm down with all
Right.
that stuff.
Let's go to the SEC, man. So
It's not working
speaking
out.
of,
Let's go to some, yeah.
So speaking of defense, there's talks about Mike Nolan moving out. So, there's a possibility of it could be in-house to George Edwards. Some other guys are floating around. I seen Lovie Smith, possibly Marvin Lewis, who the Cowboys interviewed probably for like 25 minutes and then kicked him out. So what are your thoughts about the next DC in Dallas?
Honestly, I would not be mad with Wade Phillips coming back to control the defense.
Oh, Wade Phillips.
Right?
Hold on. Even though Wade Phillips blocked you on Twitter?
Yo, that man didn't do nothing to that man. I don't know what happened. I never said anything to him.
Yeah, man.
Why'd you have to bring that up, man? You know what? Never mind. I don't want him in Dallas. Get him out of here.
Right.
No, but look, I like Wade Phillips because we know what he brings, right?
Right.
We know he's going to have that defense at least top 15, right? He's not going to be out of there. He's going to at least have them in a good scheme where they can perform well. I think Mike Nolan we're starting to perform well now, right?
Right.
But I just don't think he put the guys in the right position to perform on that defense. And his resume, how many times has he had a real top 5 defense?
Never. Who?
When has Mike Nolan had a top? Yeah.
He never had.
All right. He struggled on defense. So that's a head scratcher there. I don't see him coming back next season. I don't see it. I don't mind Edwards. We have him on the roster right now, right? What is he, our assistant coach?
Yeah, he's like an assistant defensive.
I think he was with us a while back.
Coach.
He was with us a while back. He left and he came back now, right?
Mm-hmm.
He used to be with us. But definitely I could see, I wouldn't mind Wade Phillips coming here to control the defense.
Yeah. He had a lunatic. He went on Blockfest. He blocked a bunch of Cowboys fans for some reason. I did to
that man.
I don't know what Cowboys fan like. I don't follow Wade Phillips because to be honest with you guys, the way I felt about Mike McCarthy, I felt about Wade Phillips back then. So I was not a fan of Wade Phillips being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, that 07 season though, boy.
Defensive coordinator, yeah, but head coach, nah. I wasn't much on their coach. There really hasn't been a Cowboys coach who I really liked besides Parcells. Like Parcells was my guy. Like I felt alive when Parcells was our coach. Everybody else has just been kind of like,
there was something there, Jay, that you felt like the Cowboys were going to be competitive,
right? No
matter who was on the roster,
right?
With Parcells,
it felt like a football team.
We had less talent than we do have right now, and we performed well with Parcells.
Right?
We can agree on that.
Right.
But that was a different type of style of offense he had. Parcells loves running the ball, controlled time of possession, short throws. He had a solid defense, that he wanted, but it's a different time now, man. The game's changed so much.
Right. So when it comes to Mike Nolan, yeah, I agree to lunatic, man. Nolan was payback for him hiring Mike McCarthy. He really just put his homeboy on. Like, hey, man, you held me down back then. Let me bring you on. But that's the reason why I've been saying, Mike McCarthy, you have to be held accountable for what's going on right now with this defense.
Right.
And it's up to you to fix. Now, when it comes to the idea of internally with George Edwards, and I think I said this Sunday night, it really comes down to, are we going to be a 3-4 team, which Mike McCarthy's teams are typically 3-4, or will we be 4-3? If we're going to be a 3-4 team, y'all, it's going to be more of a work in progress, because we did not have the ingredients in-house for a 3-4 team.
And we've got too much money invested in D-Law to stand up. And we saw him standing up at the beginning. We saw him standing up at the beginning of the season.
He's not comfortable. So I feel like what you would need is to bring in a 4-3 guy with the ingredients that we have, plug in the secondary, plug in the linebacker, plug in the defensive tackle position, get stronger there, but have a real identity moving forward for next season. Because if we're still trying to run this hybrid crap, it's too off kilter. I mean,
that's what Wade Phillips would do. That's what Wade Phillips, Wade Phillips, that 3-4, the hybrid stuff. That's what he would do.
Right. And so, you're going to have to bring in someone who's going to be 4-3 to what you have in house to really piece that team together. Now, when it comes to George Edwards, here's what I say about George Edwards, y'all. John, if you decide, you know what, I'm going to cook Christmas dinner for everybody, bro, and Tuck, I want you to help me, and we're both in the kitchen cooking, and you burn up everything, I'm responsible for that too as well, because I was in the kitchen with you. So George Edwards has been in-house with this horrible defense, and not once have you said, hey, Mike Nolan, Coach Nolan, How about you do this, right?
Right.
I think
Right.
George Edwards been in charge of the linebackers. Well, your linebackers haven't been playing too great. So I really don't have confidence when it comes to George Edwards because you're in-house. You're a confidant.
It took us to the end of the season to see more Joe Thomas and some Donovan Wilson.
Right.
To the end of the season now.
Right.
Those safeties and Jalen were struggling since the beginning of the season.
Right. Right.
So these guys should have been getting reps.
At the end of the season. Right. Now it's like, oh, Donovan Wilson has an interception. He should have had 2 when he's playing well. Well, we told you this week 1.
I mean, Stephen Jones in the front office, we've seen the potential of Donovan Wilson when he first came out. We saw him in that preseason. Remember, he's the Texans creating turnovers.
Right.
The guy could play. What took so long to see? We all knew this guy could play.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I just don't get it when it comes to this team.
I have a lot of anger right now towards our front office, man. They've got on my last nerves.
Yeah.
And I don't have confidence in them going in getting this Dak deal done, man.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the hard part. Honestly, if you're Dak Prescott, do you even want to be a Cowboys anymore?
Right.
Like,
with the way this front office is doing him, the way this team is built. Hey, can I go to San Francisco and and perform with those guys out there?
Right.
That kind of defense out there.
Right.
So that's a lot of stuff we're gonna have to look into. But back to the defensive thing, Jay. I wanted to bring this up. What do you think about bringing back Chris Richard?
Yeah, I was a fan. I was a fan of Chris Richard. Now I've been seeing kind of reports. He's been doing other podcasts and whatnot. Chris Richard, holler at your boy. But yeah, let me holler at you, man. But it felt like they used Chris Richard last year as a kind of a scapegoat.
Oh, for sure.
And they really didn't like his, tenacity. And,
I love his
which I love too. And then also I've been hearing reports, going to this Cowboys practice, this year, it feels like it's been flat. There hasn't been that energy, which Chris Richard and also Rod Marinelli kind of brought with this team last year. And so maybe that wasn't what Jerry Jones liked, but I would hire Chris Richard back in a heartbeat. He shouldn't be let go in the first place. I mean, that was my thing. Like, Mike McCarthy coming in should say, you know what? It's like if you buy a new house, right? You might want to change the color of a few wallpapers and whatnot, but don't tear down the entire basement and rebuild up from scratch. It's going to be a horrible project. So I felt like last year you could just say, you know what? I like what Rod Marinelli's doing. Even though his defense had taken a step back, well, I'm going to make you the defensive coordinator assistant. You know what I'm saying? So piece these people in different positions, but still bring along your guys. But he went full rebuild mode. And so you got to be held accountable for that. But I would be fully open to Chris Richard. Now, I know the hot topic guy
yes, me too.
Candidate is Sean Lee.
I seen that. And hey, I don't know.
Here's my thing.
He's a smart dude. He's a smart dude, but the experience isn't there.
Here's my thing, Cowboys Nation, with Sean Lee. What worse can you do? I mean, how do you go from one of the top 6 worst NFL defenses of all time? Like, I feel like Sean Lee can't do any worse. So
no, I don't think so either.
I mean, granted, I don't think the Cowboys would make him a DC, but he needs to be on the staff out the gate.
He's got to be on the defensive side of the staff. At least a linebackers coach. Start him off with the linebacker coach. At least start him off there.
Yeah. So if it's up to me, guys, my number one option was the first guy that we interviewed for the head coaching job. I would look at Marvin Lewis.
Yes, Marvin Lewis is a good coach on defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator. Just a coordinator, bro. That's all you're going to be. Don't get any high hopes about head coach or whatnot.
Right.
You're going to be the coordinator. Defense. So I would bring in Marvin Lewis as my defensive head coach.
And Jay, that's actually – and you know what happens when those guys come in, former coaches come into a organization as an assistant. They want to perform well. Right? Because they want to get back into head coaching.
Right.
So he's going to put his best foot forward to get this defense back to where it should be. So that's another good thing about Marvin Lewis. I do like that you brought that up. And I do think he would do good.
Right. And if you think about it, when you think about the Cincinnati Bengals, so they have all their issues. The one thing you can say, their defense was hard-nosed. Their defense was always solid and very hard-nosed. And so if you can give me that Cincinnati defense and let me keep my offense, and then we can really get this thing moving. So that's my first guy for defensive coach will be Marvin Lewis. Now
another thing, Jay, my bad. A team tank thing, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the front office still confused me. I believe personally, if we start winning games, these last 2 games, and create turnovers, Jerry and Steven might stick with Mike.
Oh yeah.
We know that. We know them well.
And that's where I'm starting to get a little bit antsy
Team
because
tank, baby, get them out here.
Because I feel like Jerry Jones, like, well, We
We
played a
created some
lot better at the end of
turnovers,
the
got in the
season.
playoffs.
We got some new. We finally got healthy with our
Yes,
secondary.
bro.
No, bro. Mike Nolan has to go. Mike Nolan
Team
should be
tank,
going
baby.
right now.
Get him out of here. Jerry needs to get pissed
Now,
off.
now that
Like, get pissed off.
that's the selling point that Team Tank needs to press, man. Because I feel like
that's our selling point.
if we come out and let's say, for instance, we get 3 turnovers versus Philly and we win that game,
bro.
everyone's high fiving Jerry Jones, but oh well, we have our defensive coordinator.
Our guy, yeah.
Nah, Mike Nolan needs to go.
Or they'll come on and say, yeah, we performed well. We made the playoffs, so we believe with the coaches and players on the staff.
Oh yeah, like, if we make the playoffs though, everyone's staying. Everyone's safe. We make the playoffs.
We know Jerry and Steven.
Yeah.
Jerry and Steven don't want to be wrong, brother. Yeah. They do not want to be wrong. That's why they hold on to these coaches for so long. They don't want to let the jackasses. But listen,
that's the
ego. Defensive coordinator is not good. Come on, let's go. Let's
and I feel like with this team, man, I feel like the defense really hasn't rallied around Mike Nolan. I've heard a lot of. I mean, we heard it from Everson Griffin and whoever the mole was back then.
Right.
Somebody was saying like they don't coach or whatnot. So just hey, man, Mike McCarthy said, hey, man, I appreciate you for coming in. I would like to rock with you. You're my guy, but I can't because they about to get me out of here too if I keep sticking around you for too much longer. So just move on. So like I said, Marvin Lewis would be my first hire. Maybe Wade Phillips if he can unblock a lot of Cowboys fans, he can come back.
I mean, I would like another thing too. But another thing, the reason I said Wade Phillips, though, it depends on the type of defense we go into.
Because if we go with Wade, we're going back to a 3-4.
The way we're built right now with Nelvin Gallimore and D-Law and these guys and Randy Gregory, Randy Gregory can't play no 3-4. He'll get tossed aside, right?
Right.
So the realist thing, Marvin Lewis, I could definitely see Marvin Lewis coming in here and doing his thing.
Right. So
he's a 4-3. He's just a 4-3 coach.
He's a 4-3 guy. He has history. He's a head coach. Like, bring in Marvin Lewis. That's my answer, Cowboys Nation.
I was hoping the Vikings would get rid of Mike Zimmer.
Right?
Yeah. And we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there might be on what is it called Black Monday. So I think also with the Falcons head coach Raheem Morris, like there's possibly him not sticking around in Atlanta, so maybe that's a guy you can bring in.
Yeah. I just think we'll have choices this offseason.
Right, we need to bring in someone who's going to charge this defense. I want a new attitude, new toughness.
Someone that's hungry, that wants to get back into the head coaching position because they're not going to let down. They're going to have a let up.
Right. And it's going to hold this defense accountable, man. So let's get into Sunday's matchup, bro. It's Fry Eagles week. What is your thoughts about this game, Team Tank? Don't bail on us now, man. Don't bail on us.
I'm not going to lie, bro. I'm not going to lie. Jalen Hurts is the real deal.
He is.
He's the real deal. We've got to give it up. As much as we hate the Eagles, real recognizes real, right? I mean, that man can play.
Right.
He can play. You can compare him to Dak. You can. The guy has a work ethic. He wants to win. I saw him in that Cardinals game. That man does not go down easy.
Right.
He's like a freight train when he gets rolling. So
man, Eagles fans.
It's gonna be. I think this game could be a high scoring game just because both defenses are banged up.
Right.
We might be Woods is out, LVE's out. Their secondary is banged up. Right. I don't know if Slay's gonna be back for them or what, but they got a bunch of. I think they had they had 2 rookies or something like that playing last weekend in the secondary against the Cardinals. So, but as much as I want to tank, I want to whoop Philly's ass.
There we go. There's my guy. They're welcome back, bro.
I want to get him. It's Philly week, bro. We always want to win. We always want to beat them. So I think it'll be a good game. Cowboys gonna handle it, man. Our receivers gonna eat out there.
I feel like Cowboys fan, granted, we're not talking about playoffs and whatnot, but this is our Super Bowl week right now,
this is our Super Bowl week.
Beat Philly, man, and I feel like that was going to solve a lot of issues. Just beat Philadelphia, man, and I would love. Here's my weird prediction, right? This is my weird prediction for the rest of the season.
Let's hear you.
We beat the Eagles.
Okay.
Carolina beats Washington.
Which it can happen.
Carolina beats Washington. We come out next Sunday. We beat the Giants
for division.
and beat the Giants for division. No, but then the Eagles lose to Washington and completely end our season.
Definitely, that could happen.
Yeah,
100%.
I think
the Redskins. So the Redskins have to lose the next 2.
Yeah, they have to lose out. And so they play Philly that last game of the season. And I feel like what can be more 2020-ish than the Cowboys finally doing well, and then we have to rely on the Eagles to handle business to save our season, and they completely bomb it.
Yeah.
And
I could definitely see it happening.
That's how it
Yeah.
is, man. But like I said, I feel like the Cowboys can win or are going to win on Sunday's matchup. Like I said
Oh,
on
for
Twitter,
sure.
y'all, I like Jalen Hurts. He's a good guy, and I know he's our rival. But I'm not going to sit here and say Jalen Hurts sucks and he's
No, we gotta be real
yeah,
about it. We
we
gotta
got
be
to be
real
real
about it.
about it. We got to be
Yeah.
real about it. Now I will call him the fake Gucci belt version of Dak Prescott, but
Yeah.
you know,
You could do that.
but the Cowboys knew that. Like Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, we knew they were kind of eyeing Jalen Hurts. They're feeling
Yes.
like,
Yes, they were, bro.
that would have been the leverage. Okay, we don't have Dak, but I got you this version. It's like the PS5 without the disc drive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still the same thing, kind of. It's limited a little bit in the features. So, I think the Cowboys were eyeing taking Jalen Hurts, and I felt
They
like
were.
that's
They
why
were.
the Eagles jumped up so early to take him. They're like,
Yeah.
we can't afford that. But he is a great quarterback, I feel like, moving forward, and he has a tremendous upside, and we see how the Eagles are rallying around him. But I will say this, as you mentioned, bro, with all the injuries that the Eagles are having, I feel like if we can protect Carson Wentz, because those guys are going to come for him, Schwartz is going to come for him. If he can get the ball into our playmakers' hands, I think this reports Zeke might be back. But we still got that offensive weapons and CD and Gallup, and I think Gallup's going to come back. I think he's going to practice, but also
Hey, Schultz is playing well too.
Schultz, Cooper. So we have more than enough.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like this defense is getting confidence, even though they still got Gage for damn near 400 yards last week. You still get the confidence. Okay, we still won the game. We got critical stops when it was needed. We were able to get turnovers. So hopefully they're able to build off of that, especially for rivalry week.
And our weakness is the run stopping, right? That's our weakness. And 49ers ran the ball well, but Philly's got a good running back in Sanders.
Yeah.
But they don't really run the ball like that, So I'm confident in this defense. We should be able to slow him down.
Right.
But it's like, again, Jalen, this might be his coming out. He wants to show himself to the world. So
right.
What else other states do it in Jerry world,
Right. And then one thing, I still got to think about is that, we have Diggs and also CD. They're familiar with Jalen Hurts. So hopefully they have some insight.
Diggs is ready for this game.
Right. So hopefully they can have
some
insight. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is dynamic, man. Like, those short third and threes.
Tough guy.
And we can really depend on that interception or fumble coming from Wentz. We're not going to have that. So Cowboys Nation, we need to find a way to get our boy Wentz back in the game and get him back in good graces with Philly.
Yeah, man. Let's get Wentz back in there.
I need Wentz back, man.
Any Philly fans in the chat, Wentz is over? They burned their jerseys already?
Right. They're already burning jerseys, man. So shout out to my guy Mo to get that win for my birthday. Happy birthday, boy, bro, for this weekend. Yeah, so hopefully we can get this win for you. And get Carson Wentz back under the center, man, because it's gonna be a lot easier with Wentz than Jalen Hurts, man.
Hurts is gonna make it difficult. That read option stuff, it's not fun.
Yeah.
When you're watching your defense go against something like that, and a guy that's mobile, it's gonna be tough.
Especially with our defense, bro. So, man, my guy, I appreciate you for coming on once again. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, man, you can find us at SoFlo Cowboys on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, every social media. Come check us out, subscribe. Right now we're just with the COVID thing going on. We haven't been making that many videos to see the way the season is, but we'll be back soon. And glad my boy J Tuck had me back on here, and I hope I'm on for some more future shows.
Yeah, man. After we win a few more ball games, I'm gonna bring you back I'm gonna bring John on specifically for the playoff kickoff game.
Yo, I wouldn't doubt it, bro. That's just the 2020. That's just the way 2020 has been. I wouldn't doubt the Cowboys host a playoff game.
Right.
They play a host of Seattle or probably a host of Saints or some shit like that.
Right.
It'd be crazy,
man.
And
also, you guys gotta check out my guy's man cave, man. His man cave is top notch, man. So salute to my guy. Like I said, they're not guests, man. They're family, man. Normally he has his wife with her, but she's working on the front line. So salute to her, doing everything she's doing. And for everyone tuning into the show, I appreciate you. Cowboys fans only on YouTube. Also, go to cowboysfansonly.com. Get your CFO merch and follow me on Twitter at jtuck151. Like I said, we are doing the Eagles versus Cowboys showdown. I think it's going to be Saturday. The guys on the chat, man, let me know. I mean, they'll just hit me. Like, they'll text me and say, Tuck. I know a few Eagles fans, the Eagles content creators. They're cool people, man, but we're definitely going to show down on Saturday and get ready for this game. Also have more content coming next week, man. So we're going to keep this train rolling, y'all. I know people are thinking like, oh, we're about to get in the off season. Season's over. No, that's not the case, CFO fam. Actually, once this season's over, I'm in talks with a lot of Cowboys content creators. We're going to roll up our sleeves and really dive deep because we are going to fix this thing and get this thing back rolling for the 2021 season. So definitely stay locked in. I appreciate all of your support. If I don't see you guys again before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas and a blessed holiday to you and your family. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shouts out to our contest winners. Shanda and Wendy, they won the gift cards, man. First getting the 500 subscribers, they won the $50 gift card. So salute to them, man. But like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Cowboys, we're gonna come through. We're gonna win this game and keep this season alive, John. Don't you feel it, man?
Hey, I'm not mad when my boys win now. Don't get it twisted. There we go. I want to win.
There we go, man. There we go. So Cowboys fan, man, you guys stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, man. And let's go get this win, man. How about those Cowboys?